complexity. And I think that's reflected in the spirit of the form of IETM itself, in that it's an informal dialogue. Some of my best interactions, as they always do, happened on the dance floor last night, and also how lucky we are to have an arts council that acknowledges the value of that kind of dialogue and that supports meetings like this. So I guess, you know, really props to the Australia Council for making this happen, and hopefully, you know, you'll help us all to keep losing our virginity for years to come.
Bravo. Thanks, Jeff. Thanks very much, Jeff. Now, for those of you who are not Australians, just a little bit of verbal advice. There is a word that Jeff uses called daggy. Daggy. For those of you who don't know, you've got to think of a sheep, sheep, and the bit of wool that goes over its bum at the end, that gets a bit shitty sometimes. That's called a dag, all right? But if somebody calls you a dag, it's all right, because we sometimes use it really affectionately. You can say, oh, you're a real dag, and nobody minds at all. It's great. So when he says something is daggy, it's just a little bit shitty on the end, all right? That's what he means. We're a wonderful culture, I must say. Language, the richness, what can I say? Somebody who is absolutely not daggy and has worked for many very undaggy companies in the world, one of whom I invited to my Melbourne festival, and that was Victoria, is Hilda Turkeys, who is now working with the Flemish Arts Institute. And I'd like to invite Hilda to say a little bit about what happened in the discussion this morning about the window to Europe, given there's such a great Asian focus. What came there, Hilda?
Since it was the system with the 15 or 12 tables, I wasn't at any of these tables except mine, where we talked about Belgium. But I had some feedback that it was very useful for a lot of people, and that it helped really a lot of the Asian and Australian participants to get to know each other. And of course, getting to know each other is the basis of collaboration and networking. And in the introduction, I mentioned that the fact that Europe now, we are blessed with, I think, a lot of mobility, a lot of cross-country collaborations. There's a lot of movement going on amongst artists and artist professionals. But that is thanks to the work of individuals like all of you, 30 years, that started about 30 years ago. So it's not because it hasn't that intensity yet in Asia or in Australia right now that it cannot happen very soon, I think, and it is already happening. And as Michelle kindly pointed out, I'm a dinosaur. I'm not a virgin, I'm a dinosaur for IGM.